Okay, now this is the first part of a video that also has a second part, and this video is going to be focusing on backing up. The second video will be focusing on restoring. So, how do you back up your Kodi application properly? It's pretty simple. The way it works is go into Kodi, and this system right here is using the Aries wizard to install builds. The build that I'm using right now, or the skin that I'm using right now, is called Spins. Okay? The backup tool is located in Programs. If you have not installed the backup tool, it's pretty simple to do. All you need to do is click on Program Add-ons, and then go to, like, here's the backup tool. I've selected it. I've already installed it. But to actually install the backup tool, just go to Get More. You click on Get More, and then once the list appears, you scroll down to Backup. You click on Backup, and when you click on it, instead of having an uninstall option there, you will have an install option. You'll go into Configure, and you will configure the location of where you want to store your backups. I'm using the SCS805 from solaceconnect.com. So the path where I would store that at is located on the local file system. It would actually be the root file system. But if you are using an USB drive, then you would just choose SDA1 or SDA2, depending on what slot you have your USB drive in, or however many USB drives you have. That would probably be the best way to state that. So my location's already selected. Normally Compress Archives is not selected. You're going to want to select Compress Archives because you want the backup to be zipped up, so it'll be smaller and easier to store on devices that may not have a lot of space. File selection, normally add-on data will not be selected. You're going to want to select that. And then I think the other one that's not selected is, it might be profiles. You're going to want to select that. All of these have to be selected. Custom Directory 1 and Custom Directory 2 do not need to be selected. Once you're done with that, you would just click Run. When you click Run, it'll give you an option to back up, restore, and once again open your settings so you can configure it. My settings are already configured, so what we want to do is a backup. Choose Backup, and when you choose Backup, it will back up the Kodi application and store the backup file in that SD card location that I had chose for storing my backups. So we'll let this run. Once it's done, we will pick back up on this discussion, and I will explain to you how, once the backup is done, if you're using the Aries wizard to install your builds, and I do suggest that you use your Aries wizard. And if you want to learn more about how to install the Aries wizard and where you can find it at, go to solaceconnect.com, check out the support section, and I've put together a great video that will walk you through with a lot of detail on how to install the Aries wizard. But once you have the Aries wizard installed, you're able to install your builds, and once they're installed, you'll want to back it up. And the Aries wizard has a backup tool, and of course, once this is done, I will show you. Okay, so the backup has completed, and it should take anywhere from 8 to 5 to 10 minutes for the backup to complete. It really depends on the size of your build. So if you install the Spins build, or the Beast build, or the Pulse, some of the other different builds out there using your Aries wizard tool, um, the size of the file can be pretty huge. So the backup's done. So I just want to check and ensure that the the backup shows up if I was going to do a restore. I'm not. There is another video though that will speak on the restore. So it's there. All right. So that's using the default Kodi tool to back up the system. And once you've done that, then you need to use the Aries wizard to complete the backup. Now you may be asking, well, why are you backing it up twice? Well, the reason why you're backing it up twice is because the default backup tool, it backs up the Kodi install. True. But for some strange reason on the Spins build, the Beast build, and some of the other builds, it doesn't back up like all of the special effects, the different backgrounds and the unique looking icons. It doesn't back up all of that for some reason. It'll error out and it just won't be able to back those up. So you have a backup that allows you to install Kodi from scratch or restore Kodi back to its default state. You install the default backup tool and then you restore your system, and you'll have a system that'll be about 95%. But it's not all the way complete yet because there's some components that error out and they don't install. So then you go to your backup, your Aries wizard backup, and you utilize that, and then that particular backup it will restore all of those icons and those backgrounds, and then you will have a system put back in a state that it was in previously when it was functioning correctly. So that's why you have to do this two-prong approach. I need to change my location because I'm storing everything not on my USB drive, but on the root file system in the SD card location. And this file structure is pretty common for all of the Android OSs. So regardless of what device you're using, whether you're using an SC S805 by solaceconnect.com or you're using Amazon Fire Stick or Google Chromecast or some other device, this should be pretty standard, that file structure. So you go to the SD card section because that's the only section that you can actually save data to. Click on refresh once you're done, and then choose full system backup. You don't need to go and select all those individual items. Just do a full system backup. You don't want to miss anything because it makes it a lot easier when you have a backup. That way, if you install build and it messes up something, or you install some add-on and it corrupts something, or even if an update is pushed out for the Android OS and it messes up something, and you don't have to sit up there and worry about it. You know you have a backup, just restore from backup and then you're done. As simple as that. Right here it just says, would you like to skip things like the Kodi log file packages, thumbnails? This will save time. Just say no. Back up everything. Once this is done, then we're good to go. I'll pause it so that way you don't have to sit through this whole thing. But usually the Aries wizard's pretty fast. It doesn't take that long. Okay, so the backup is complete. There were no errors, so you know that's a good backup. So you just click OK. It'll ask you would you like to download the latest Aries Wizard zip file to the backup folder. It will save the need to enter the URL in order to reinstall Aries so you can restore the backup, I'm just going to say yes, but it doesn't matter because I already have the Aries information in my default backup. The only reason I'm using my Aries Wizard backup is just to ensure that I get all of my backgrounds and icons. That's it. But even without the Aries Wizard backup, it would still function. You know, my build would still function. It just wouldn't have all of the neat looking backgrounds. And as I get ready to wrap this video up, I'll show you the backgrounds that I'm talking about. It's just things like this right here, you know, these backgrounds. The icons down there at the bottom, where it says like Exodus, Salt, and all that, those icons will show up. But it's just these unique backgrounds and how they'll change to different images. That wouldn't be available. So that's it. And so that's why I do the Aries Wizard backup, so that way I can make sure I have these installs. So that's it. Thank you for tuning in, and be on the lookout for the next video. Thanks.